I like the word moist, okay? It's who I am. And if you can't accept that, then what's the point?
Remember when Pixar movies used to be good and they didn't make us want to cringe out of our skin? Those were the days. Now, to be fair, the video I just showed you isn't actually Pixar, but arguably, it's worse. A few weeks ago, Pixar released a teaser for their upcoming movie called Elementals. It's a movie about a fire girl and a water boy who fall in love or whatever. It looked really generic to me. In fact, it looks so generic, a really talented animator named Temmer decided to predict what the third act of Elementals would actually look like. And as you saw, it was a very sentimental, typical Pixar, I'm gonna expel to you my emotions in the third act kind of scene. And yes, it's funny, but what was really interesting to me was how people reacted to it. Listen to this. Intense music with no hook? Check. Ambient lens flares? Check. Human eyes? Check. Character having an emotional breakdown? Check. Character that is literally just an abstract concept? Check. Yep, it's a modern Pixar character, alright. I like the word moist. Made me die laughing. It's better than any Pixar third act misunderstanding I've seen in a long time. I like how this perfectly captures the overwrought emotional scenes from modern Disney movies that make me roll my eyes. I can actually imagine this happening in the movie. Pixar is running out of ideas fast. And then I like how this person just simply says, I'm not saying this. Yeah, clearly this video ruffled some feathers and got a lot of people mad at Pixar. So what happened? And are the comments true? Is this just standard Pixar now? These sort of sad, weepy third act misunderstandings? I mean, people used to love Pixar. People used to be really excited when a new Pixar movie came out. I'm a 90s baby, so I think it's a bit of an understatement to say just how much Pixar movies had an impact on my childhood. So to see the public perception of these films change over time has been kind of odd. So I dove deep into Pixar to see what's been going on. Are these movies actually getting worse? And if so, why? And to explain why I think Pixar is falling off right now, we need to go back to the beginning when Pixar was actually great. And yes, I use the word great here instead of good because Pixar was truly exceptional out of the gate. Yes, everyone knows they started with the career-defining Toy Story, but then they had a string of just classic after classic after classic. They went from the misunderstood movie that is A Bug's Life to Toy Story 2, which some people even thought was better than the first Toy Story. Then they followed it up with Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, we don't have to mention that one, Ratatouille, then WALL-E, then Up, which got nominated for Best Picture. That's an iconic string of movies right there. That is an iconic run in Hollywood, period. This was the golden age of Pixar, where it seemed like they really couldn't do anything wrong. Even when they put out a mixed or divisive movie like Cars, I would still argue that the first Cars was much better than the sequels, and really, I thought was a cute, entertaining movie. I mean, when it came to quality, no other studio could match Pixar. And then things started to change around the time that Disney bought Pixar. The first movie that Disney had Pixar make was Toy Story 3. Of course, it had to be a sequel because that's all Disney really does now. Don't get me wrong, Toy Story 3 isn't a bad movie. I know a lot of you really love it. I personally thought it was an unnecessary sequel, but I don't think it was bad. So the Disney-Pixar relationship was off to a good start. And then they came out with Cars 2, another sequel, and this time it was critically panned by everyone involved. At the time, it was Pixar's lowest rated movie that they had ever put out. Common criticisms for this movie were cheap, soulless, and unnecessary, something that is going to become an evolving theme with Disney Pixar movies as we go on. Then they came out with Brave, which was the first Pixar Disney princess movie, another movie that was not critically well received. And personally, I cannot stand Brave. I don't like that movie at all. And I think Disney and Pixar both know that Brave didn't work out because till this day, Pixar has never gone back to make another Disney princess movie. Fast forward to 2013 and we get another sequel with Monsters University. Again, a lot of people say this movie just doesn't hold a flame to the original Monsters, Inc. And I have to agree. Even though I don't think this movie is bad, it doesn't match the same level of quality that their earlier films had. It doesn't even have some of the same magic. It just felt felt like a sequel because Disney thought a sequel would be profitable and be a big hit, and that's really the only reason they made this film. Fast forward to 2015 and we get Inside Out, an actually really great movie about a person's inner emotions. This was the first Disney Pixar collaboration that I felt like we actually got a good enough movie that it could stand with Pixar's earlier work. It's original, it's inventive, it's everything Pixar should be. But then they followed it up with The Good Dinosaur, a movie that bombed in theaters. In fact, it was Pixar's first bomb, and it was critically panned, so it was kind of just a fail entirely. After that, we get another sequel with Finding Dory, a sequel that I think is vastly inferior to the original in just about every way. And again, everyone who saw the movie, most people agreed with that. Fast forward to 2017 and we get another Cars movie. Again, this one disappointed at the box office because no one was asking for another Cars movie. Disney only made Pixar make this film because they make a ton on Cars merchandise, making this another soulless cash grab sequel that Disney would soon to become known for. Then in 2017, we got Coco. I think this is an okay movie. It's not one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people do like it. Just kind of okay. I don't think it's as good as like WALL-E or Up, but it's there. Incredibles 2 came out in 2018. I actually really love Incredibles 2. I love it as much as the first one, but I know a lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought it was just a shameless cash grab, a running theme at this point. And then in 2019, we got another sequel with Toy Story 4, a movie that I actively dislike. I think not only is it unnecessary and the Toy Story franchise should have ended at Toy Story 3, but I actively think it does a disservice to the characters and ends the Toy Story franchise on a really bummer note. And I don't understand why they did this other than just to make more money. And then their last couple of movies that they've put out, Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red. Most of these movies are okay. The only film I really liked out of that group is Soul because it's actually about deep, heady themes that Pixar used to be really good at. All these other movies, they just feel kind of generic, shallow, like Pixar is kind of repeating some of the same beats they've done in previous movies. None of them really stick out to me. And I think that's how we've gotten to where we're at now, where people see a trailer for a new Pixar movie and they're like, oh, it's just gonna be another cash grab, or oh, we've seen this before, it's just repeating the same story beats. Because when you look at the last couple of movies they put out, that's kind of what Pixar has trained us to expect at this point. I mean, the stark contrast in quality between before Disney bought Pixar to after Disney bought Pixar is just jarring and obvious. 8 out of the 16 Pixar films that they have made since Disney took over are sequels. That's 50%. Compare that to before Disney took over Pixar, where there were 0% sequels, and you can see the problem. Before Disney took over, Pixar was a company that sole focus was just on innovating and creating great works of art. For the most part, they were an isolated, self-contained studio. When Disney took over, they had different motives than what Pixar used to have. Disney is a major conglomerate that wants to make money, whether it be through merchandise or putting Pixar into their parks, which they have done a lot. But the motivation behind these movies went from wanting to really push forward the medium of innovation and creating great stories to how do we make a movie that will sell us a lot of merchandise, and how do we get this into the park so we can really exploit it and make as much money on this property as possible. And you can see it in the type of movies Pixar now likes to make. Take Lightyear, for example, a movie that bombed, like hugely bombed in theaters just this past year. Not only is it another sequel in the long line of Toy Story movies that really should have ended a while ago, but it was critically panned. A Toy Story movie was critically panned. That's how bad things have gotten. I mean, you can tell the cat in that movie was put there just to sell toys. When you can look at a movie and tell that something is in it just to sell toys, there's a problem. So am I blaming Disney for the reason Pixar has declined in quality? Yes, I am blaming Disney. Now look, I love Disney. I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult. Don't judge me. But I am not above pointing out that they have flaws. And I really feel like, especially lately, they've been pushing Pixar and turning it into something that it's not. And that's why I think the quality of their movies has been suffering. That mixed with the fact that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which came out just a few years ago, literally reinvigorated and reshaped the animation medium and got people wanting to see different kinds of animation styles as opposed to the same Disney style people had been used to for like 2 decades. People are really starting to see through the Disney Pixar label and see what it really has become. And I think they're also just getting tired of the same old, same old. But do you see what I'm saying? Do you think Pixar movies have been declining lately? Or do you think I'm full of horseshit and you think that the earlier Pixar movies are just as good as the movies that they're making now? If you do, please let me know in the comments. I really want to know your thoughts. And as always, my name has been Brittany. If you like this video, please subscribe. I do lots of videos like this multiple times a week. Also like this video. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps YouTube push this video out to more people. So please like the video and I'll see you on the next video, guys. Bye.